to this version of Creators Ethics. It's a podcast that is being hosted to address the ethical standards in the Nigerian creative space. We know we live in a world of too many things going on about, and we realize that there has to be a moral obligation to what creatives are doing. These are the reasons why we at the Afro Creators always decided to come online and put this together. We're so happy for the support we've gotten so far. We are happy that we are doing this based on a double gesture. So, to cut a long story short, we have a very special somebody today. We have to bring in the best to start with, so that people will know that, okay, these are the level of seriousness that are supposed to attach to their creativity, and not just do it anyhow. So I have with me the Director, Lagos Zonal Office, the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission, Mr. Raf. Akwa.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, John.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes.
Yes, John Bula, right?
Yes, John Bula.
Great.
So tell us briefly your story about NBC, how you got to be in NBC, what you do in NBC.
Well, let me start by giving you a brief history of the National Broadcasting Commission. As a correction, anyway, it's not Nigeria, but it's National Broadcasting Commission (NBC). Prior to 1992, the broadcasting space in Nigeria was owned and operated by the government, solely by the government. So in 1992, there was this deregulation of broadcast industry. I will call it liberation anyway. So by that, individuals started having ownership and operation of radio and television stations in Nigeria. And having such numbers of people coming in to operate broadcasting, the government also deemed it necessary to establish a body that was saddled with the responsibility of regulating what is being done in the broadcast industry. That was what gave birth to the National Broadcasting Commission in 1992. So we've been in existence for over 30 years now. And all what we do basically is we receive what they call applications and consider them and also after considering them we advise or recommend, if you like, we recommend through the Minister of Information to the President for final approval. By the way, it's the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that gives the final approval for ownership of radio and television in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we recommend that. We also regulate and control the broadcast industry. I think that is where I believe your interest is. Then we also ensure that there is fairness in everything we do. Then again, one of the responsibilities of the NBC is to establish the standards that will govern broadcasting in the country, and that leads us to the production of this what this document I'm holding here. It's called the Nigerian Broadcasting Code. This
the camera. So
yes, this spells out, gives the minimum standard of what is expected of any broadcaster in Nigeria to follow. It serves as a guide, So then we also intervene and arbitrate on issues as it relates to broadcast industry. We have a lot, even in terms of capacity building. We are also there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It feels good. It feels good to know the weight. I like the fact that you're able to expatiate on the weight of what the NBC stands for. And so, in simple terms, like the officials of NBC on a regular days. So I've been with some of NBC officials as a media entrepreneur. So and I'll be like, what did they do? There's a rumor on the street. So people say like, NBC, they're the ones that always following your radio, anything, you go and do anything on your radio station, once they're able to pick a grab of it, the people in charge of the radio, they will have to answer for that at that moment in time.
Yeah.
So I was like, what was it like? You know, it's like, are they really that snooping, like, the way they portray it?
Let me start with myself. I can relate with that question through my own experience. You know, I joined the NBC in the year 2000. Now over 25 years. Now it's 25 years. Yeah, and I've worked in different states of this country. At least with the job, it has taken me far and near in Nigeria. So, you know, basically we have different directorates in NBC. You just spoke about one of the various directorates, and that is the Directorate of Broadcast Monitoring. You know, so when you talk about monitoring, yes, we have a team, you know, that tend to, you know, monitor what goes on air, you know, on a radio, television, on a daily basis. We monitor them, and the team have this document as a guide, you know. So they look at what is being transmitted on radio or television vis-a-vis what the code says. Remember I said the code spells out the minimum standard that is required of any broadcaster in Nigeria. So they look at that and quickly draw the attention of their supervisor to any infraction. Oh, this is what we observe this station do, why what the code says is this. So there is an infraction there. So we now had to come in through, probably you can caution the station, draw their attention to it, because we know that, you know, we are all human. People are liable to make mistakes, you know. So we draw their attention to it and say, oh, this is what you have done wrong, or probably the supervisor was not there when someone did the wrong thing. So that is trying to draw the consciousness of the operators to what they are not doing right, you know, and advise them on the way to go. So basically, we go on like that on a daily basis.
The reality makes us move faster instead of just lamenting.
Exactly.
So, sorry for the cut short. So now the question I would like to ask, like, I know like we have NBC officials monitoring what the TV and the radios they are doing.
Yes.
So but we live in a world of digital era now. What is the NBC doing? Because there's a lot of stuff going on the internet. Yeah. You just realize that, okay, how long can we look away? Even this podcast we are having, we've seen what a lot of people have created, the shenanigans they've created with podcasting and how they see it. I remember this time during the last Africast, the one that NBC does host. So I asked the question. The question was very, very controversial with some other big brands, and I won't be mentioning names because I was like, yes, they are complaining about podcast because it's something that you can put on the internet. What are the boundaries that NBC themselves are setting for something on the internet? Because that was where the major concern. They were leveraging on the fact that the internet is free, so it's free of opinion, it's free of. What about repetitive opinion that are being biased or that are being shared in different ways? As an instance, we will see people coming on podcast sessions where they're telling that if a man does not make this one, they can't get married. Setting the kind of standard for young people that are coming. We've seen some people come on podcasts to talk about why they are not entitled to take care, that then they can't take care of their parents. So now, when we have stuff like that coming up in the society and they're pushing it out on the internet and they feel free like, okay, I think we are bringing is degrading the stand what we have in society. Because when you are now raising children, I feel like they don't need to take care of their parents when they are old. They feel like before they can marry, this is the threshold of the boundaries they have to set for the husband in terms of what was have in the account. Even some that are way more cynical that we can't be, but everybody feel like, okay, this is the podcast, these are the things. So in terms of online content, what is NBC doing to caution to definitely is part of the broadcast. So
anyways, when I started, I told you that the National Broadcasting Commission was established in 1992, and the responsibility was basically for radio, television. And I believe at that time it was not envisaged that we're going to have this kind of, diversity in terms of platforms for broadcasting. However, the commission, we are still working on this. Presently, we are collaborating with other agencies and see how we can effectively guide. I'm using this word carefully. Yes, not regulate this time around, but effectively guide what goes on the digital platforms. For now, what we are doing now is to encourage people like you, John Bolivar. John Bula, rather.
You give me another name.
John Bula.
I like that one.
Yes.
I think I like John Boulevard.
John Boulevard, very good. I think I've given you one.
That's a very nice name, John Boulevard.
So you see, what you are doing now, you are creating a positive narrative, which I believe that people who listen to this podcast will take one or two things. Particularly, you have given NBC the opportunity. I most appreciate you for that. To talk to the digital creators that we need to be conscious of what we do. We need to take responsibility for everything we do. Though we say the internet is free, we have freedom of expression, we have freedom of everything. However, every freedom comes with a lot of responsibilities. So whatever you do, remember who you are. Remember the family you come from. Remember the home. Remember your parents. Remember your teachers. Remember the society. Because I used to speak to some people and I would tell them, I said, you as a broadcaster, as a presenter, you sit down behind the microphone, the way I'm talking to the microphone now, and I will introduce myself and everybody will know me, and my teachers are out there listening to me, and what am I saying? Is that what my teachers taught me? Now the next question is, my father, my parents are also listening. Whatever I am saying now, are those things, making them proud, or they are shaking their heads in disbelief that this could come out from this boy? So that is what I think the level we should go. It's things that we should let everybody, every content creator, to have on their minds that, look, whatever you are creating, is either you are trying to build a society or you try to destroy it. In like broadcasting, in broadcasting, we are to uplift the people. We are to unite the nation. We are not to destroy the people. We are not to destroy the young ones. Like you rightly said, setting a standard that before a man could marry you must have so amount of money in the account. And what happens? What if you don't see any man that meets that standard? You see, that is why you end up seeing some people at the rightful age, but they are not yet married because of the standard they've set for themselves that is so high. I always tell people, look, whatever you see on the internet or you see on the social media, always remember that it is not 100% fact. Somebody sits down to create that content for any reasons that he or she may have. You understand? And of course, he may be seeing it from his own perspective. It might not be a general thing. So whatever you say might not necessarily mean that I must take it hook, line, and sinker. I too have my brains. I can process some things. I can decide on what I want and what I think is good for me. So I think that is why, again, the National Broadcasting Commission, for my commission to agree that I should come in here to discuss on it. You see that the NBC is interested in helping the young creative minds to grow. And of course, we are not regulating to set some limitation. Rather, we all the regulations that we bring is like a building blocks for standards, where everybody, the creators are protected, and of course the public too are protected. So once we know all these things, then I think we'll be good to go. But for now, a lot of things are happening, like you rightly said, on the social media, on the internet, that we looked at and everybody will be so disturbed and say, oh, how do we get here? How do we get here? And again, lastly, if you recall, there was a time an honorable member raised a bill to regulate the social media, to regulate, and everybody were against it. You understand? And at that time, it was not as worse as it is today. Now, I believe that if such bill comes up again, you will see that the kind of uproar we had that time will not be like it. People, yes, many people will want us to look at it and say, okay, let's regulate it. But I won't want to use the word regulate. We are guiding. Like I said again, the NBC is collaborating with some other agencies and see how we can come up with some things, that could guide people on whatever they're going to push on the net.
Thank you very much for that. It's very detailed. Like I'm so happy like we are having that documented, and
yes.
These are the stuff that we need people to hear. These are the stuff we want people to hear. So like when you are creating your stuff, be ethical about it.
Exactly.
There's no nothing you want to say. You just do something for the sake of anyhowness. You have to put standards. You have to put ethics. You have to put. I remember there was a time a musician in Nigeria was saying about fraud, and people were taking up against him. Even the big one that he was looking up to. I remember then there was a video. The video says that you don't joke with fraud. You don't use fraud. You know the way people handle fraud in Nigeria. That is not what you go online and start singing about.
Exactly.
You know the way that we are being passive abroad. That is not what you go and sing about. Those are ethics standards that you are supposed to know. That this thing is too expensive to joke with. Doctors are saying, and it's music. Music can transcend in different dimensions. So
exactly.
I'm really, really happy to.
I will give you another example. You see, Yahooze, you know that song? Yes. When Yahooze was placed as not to be broadcast, there was a kind of uproar too. I will chop your dollar. I don't know if you remember that song too. Yes, that one too was placed as not to be broadcast. All because of just to collaborate. To corroborate what you said now, that corruption, fraud. These are not things that we were trained to do. No, it's not. It's not good for the society. It's not good for you and I. You understand? But today you may be the one that is doing tomorrow. You may be the victim. So what are we saying? What are we saying? So a lot of things we need to really look at it, that look, whatever you push on the net or whatever you push on the social media, you are like sending a message that if it's not well handled or managed, it may boomerang. Permit me to use this Yoruba word that says tabasoko loja uli para ileni. Whatever you do on the net, you may be so surprised. You may be so surprised that it might even affect your family member, and they will still come back to you.
Of course.
So we should be very careful. We should be mindful of the fact that whatever we push there must be ethical.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So, if this guide, I know it seems a little bit bulky. So, like, is there a PDF version that other creatives can get access to online?
Well, for now, this is the 6th edition of the code, and that is the one that we're presently using, and is on the verge of being reviewed now, because a lot of things are happening. Like you rightly said, we know that broadcasting is dynamic and is evolving really. So the document that serves as a guide also cannot remain static. So presently we don't have the PDF version of this. If you stumble on any one, it might not be the correct one. The only one we have now that is still is this hard copy, and I believe that because we are in the digital world now, the next edition of the code, I believe we are going to have a PDF version of it that will be
accessible online.
Yes, that will be accessible.
Because at that moment it makes a lot of people to be able to
access
it.
Yes,
so,
because the code actually, if you look at the principle of the code, is to guide all content creators to know what is required of them, and of course to guide the members of the public to know that they have the right to quality content. You understand? So whatever you push, I have my data, I have my phone or my device. Though you will ask me, who asked you to at least to open that page? It is a willing thing.
Yes.
But however, I should be able to see that, or seeing the face of the person who pushed this content, I should be able to say, oh, this must be an ethical content, let me open it.
Yeah.
But a situation where you see a very beautiful, handsome man who pushed something that is not ethical, something that can easily erode the moral of a young one, then there's a problem. There's a problem, yes.
Problem. Thank you very much for your time. I really enjoyed this. Like, you highlighted the basics of what we're trying to achieve with this podcast, and I'm even happy that we're having these conversations today.
Thank
on a final note, what advice would you give to creatives, creators, the people that are established, the upcoming ones? What would you, from your professional, from the government, regulatory body? So let's imagine like you're giving somebody that is your younger one, maybe your niece or your nephew that you know that is taking a career in that step. So what kind of advice will you give that person to shape?
I think I will just rather read some things I wrote here.
No problem.
If you will permit me.
Yeah, well.
Because the advice are in several places. Let me start with the first one I spoke about. I said, whether you are broadcasting on FM or live streaming to 100 or 1 million people on the TikTok or on social platform, remember one thing. The goal is the same. Responsible communication that protects the public and promote national values should be at the back of our minds. So whatever you are doing, whatever platform you are using, protect the people and of course promote national values. They are very, very, very important. You cannot do away from that. Then the tips that I can easily give to content creators is that always be mindful of what you are doing. Fact check sensitive claims. Avoid stereotyping. We stereotype a lot. Stereotyping, avoid it. Avoid stereotyping. Then try to understand and know the standards for the platform you are using. For example, if you are using YouTube, for instance, or you are using TikTok, there are standards there. Also understand that all these things are just to ensure that your content is ethical. Now, lastly, my conclusion is this. Your creativity is a gift to this nation. Let's shape a media space where innovation thrives without chaos, where freedom comes with responsibility, and storytelling uplifts our people and unite our nation. At NBC, we are not against bold stories. We are against harmful ones, and we are here to support storytellers who are shaping Nigeria with their creativity and of course conscience. So with that conscience, it shows that you are responsible. So your content should as well be responsible.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
I'm
so happy. I really like. I love what you wrote, what you spelled out now. It's very, very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I'm very sure everybody that is watching this, that's listening to this, they will see one or two values that we are trying to put out to the society, and we just want people to know that okay, podcasting. A lot of people are hearing about podcasting, and just like it's not just things that you just do for the sake of anyhowness.
Yes.
So once you have good content, once you have good structure, once you have there's always possibility that people will notice you and it will go well. So I'm really, really grateful for your time. And
one thing I also say there is that some people do this not because of what message they're passing. Rather, they want to see followership. Oh, how many followers? How many people are following me? Now, they are not so concerned about what message am I passing to this number of people. Yeah. So once you are very careful, know that you are passing message to this number of people. It's good to know your number of followers. Even in NBC, we're trying to do what we call audience measurement. We want to know people who are following what content, what platform and all that. It's very good. It will also help advertisers. It helps people who are economically, it will help you. Yes, because advertisers will want to place their advert on any platform or any content that has. So when you look at all this, you are using that to sell a message. The message you are sending, don't limit it to only the numbers of people that are following you, but make sure that the message is something that they can take home and create a sane society.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. On behalf of Afro Creators Hub, to the end of today's episode on Creators Ethics podcast, and we are so happy to have the director of Lagos Zone Office NBC. He has shared a lot of insights with us, and it's really it feels good to have somebody like him on today's episode. And I'm very sure everybody that is watching this, they know what to do more and how to be ethical about what they are doing. So thanks very much again for your time.
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much
the NBC for supporting us and for we show that they are willing to work with creatives and they are not rigid the way they are being portrayed outside. So thank you very much for your time again.
Thank you so
much. On behalf
much.
of Afro Creators Hub, we say thank you for your time. For all the watchers, God bless you. Thank you, sir.